arcades were the first pay to play. They were the first
Yep.
freemium. Like you had to, they were made to pump quarters into.
Yep.
So when you get home, you really realize how shallow most of these arcade games actually were. There's just not a lot of depth to them, and they were almost extraordinarily hard to keep you pumping quarters in. They
I'm
were
really
designed.
glad. I'm really glad you brought that up because I played through one of the Turtle arcades the other day on the Cowabunga collection,
Yeah,
and I was thinking that exact same shit. I was telling my buddy, he was watching me play, and I'm like, dude, like the bosses on here are just extremely ridiculously hard. Now, luckily, like on that game, you can hit start when you die, and you can get 30 lives or whatever to get through the game. But like I could imagine being a damn kid again playing that and like really wanting to beat it and pumping the quarters in. And I mean, I guarantee you I lost probably 8 or 9 lives just in the final boss trying to beat him and playing decently, and he just hits you and there's nothing you can do about it. And he take so much damage, just literally a quarter sucker. That and the damn Simpsons arcade machine, I spent way too much money on that game.
arcade, when it came out for the 360, I played it and thought, this isn't actually very good. We're just relying on nostalgia.
Right.
But a lot of the main games for the arcades were designed to be picked up and played by anyone just walking up the machine.
Yep.
And they were
Slap a quarter in and go.
to get you to pump quarters into. And that's a problem I have with a lot of the NES and SNES era, where a lot of these arcade games came home. They're just not very deep or interesting, and they don't hold the test of time, in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, as much as I love to play Tempest in the arcade, playing it at home, I can play it for maybe 10, 15 minutes, but I'm done. Now, if I was at an arcade or if I had a Tempest machine and with the actual spinner, I might play it a little longer, but it's not going to captivate me and keep me engaged as long as, say, I mean, just off the top of my head, a Grand Theft Auto Vice City or Grand Theft Auto 5 or something like that.
Definitely something to play on.
More in depth, right.
I gotta say, I mean, I kind of disagree at some points just because, like, 4 of the 6 games I beat this year were all arcade games. I had the Capcom Beat 'em Up collection. I beat 3 games on there, and then just beat 1 on the Fighting collection. I mean, it makes sense for what an arcade was. Like, they got to make money. If they're making just 50 cents for every person,
oh yeah, yeah. And you didn't want somebody
machine,
to put 1 quarter in and play for freaking 3 days. You wanted.
Right.
You wanted it. I mean, look at what is it, Dragon Lair. So you played Dragon Lair in the arcade. You literally died within 2 seconds of putting your quarter in that fucking game, and that was done on purpose. That was done on purpose. And then if you made it past that first death, you died again right there after. Oh shit! Here's another quarter. Like,
I think. Well, you make a good point, Brandon, but I think that also depends upon the game itself too, because there are definitely some of those games that I think a lot of people would have no problem standing around and plunking quarters into it, like Gauntlet, or maybe like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I would stand there and play that all day long, especially if I wasn't doing it by myself. If I was doing it with 1 or 2 other people, but would I want to sit there and play Operation Thunderbolt now? Maybe not, especially not by myself. I mean, having that little Uzi in my hand and blasting those guys away, it's fun, but
the Aerosmith arcade game. There you go.
There's so many different types of arcade games, though. It's like it depends on what you're playing. Like, if it's like a beat 'em up, are you probably going to want to, if you're really into it, probably not want to play it by yourself though. Like, I've never enjoyed a beat 'em up as much as I have with like a friend, right? But still, they're great games. I mean, there's a lot of stuff like Tony touched on the Simpsons arcade. Like, that's fun, but what we've done for arcade games now is given like the unlimited lives. Not worrying. You have control of it fully, but you can't expect like a 6-hour game because it was meant to be rotated amongst people. So,
there was
games are an interesting example because they were meant to be played with people.
Mm-hmm.
They have a little bit more depth than, say, the Simpsons arcade game. Although, in one review, I forgot what it was now, but I mentioned that Goro with MK1 was simply that hard to get money out of. If people remember that.
Oh yeah, I played that. Definitely. That was Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat 2 were in our local arcade or our local skating ring. We played the shit out of
First
those.
one I ever played was Mortal
yeah.
Kombat 1.
I remember seeing within the last 2 or 3 months there was a documentary style video that there was a YouTuber did one on Mortal Kombat in the arcade and Mortal Kombat. It might have been Angry Video Game Nerd, and he was talking about it may have been him or it may have been a different video that I watched along those lines, and he was talking about how badly some of those games cheated, whether it be at home or even in the arcade, just
On
to
purpose.
get on purpose, just to get more money out of you.
Exactly.
Shao Kahn still fucking cheats. Fuck that boss. He can suck a dick.
Damn,
Hey,
dude.
I just happened to see a comment come through on the YouTube by Eep. It's arcade games are like beer. You don't play one expecting it to last for hours. You just move on to the next one. Seems
Dude, he's
relevant and
right.
funny.
That's
Yeah,
Sean, by the way. Thanks for tuning in, Sean. But yeah, I do agree with that. I mean, it's a very typically like a party style environment, like especially if we're talking like the second wave of arcades. So we're talking post like Atari, Star Wars. We're getting into like the
Well, that was always-
16-bit arcade.
It was always the big thing too. Any like movies that portray arcades back in the day, it's always like a huge party. Like it's everybody hanging
Always.
around, watching that one dude killing it. Like, got a group of people around you, all the noise from all the arcades. It wasn't just that one arcade in your face. It was literally the entire room. Like, it was a scene. It was a whole ass scene, which made it amazing.
Hey, thanks for watching this segment from the Game Junction Podcast. You can catch us live every Sunday night at 8 o'clock Eastern right here on YouTube or some of our other socials that'll be down in the links below. We hope you check out some of our other content right here on this page, and we hope you come and join us. That is every Sunday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, live right here. We hope you enjoy. See y'all then.